Vanchakalpaturvishcha kripasundabhevacha patitanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Nantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Congratulations to all of us for making it back here and getting through a full cycle of human life and dealing with all the various obstacles means jumping from one sangha to the next and taking advantage as much as possible. And all the interim part where there's struggle or disconnection is counted as part of devotional service. Just getting there is more than half of the success of devotional service. So to all of you who took the trouble to move yourselves across time and space to be here today, I offer my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna. And especially because those who are dedicated to the process of devotional service, especially the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, which is the most intimate practice of devotional service and also the topmost, are considered amongst the great sages, amongst all the Shastras personified to be the best of all people, what to speak of by Krishna himself. So to you all, I offer my humble obeisances. Today, we're going to start with hearing from Srila Prabhupada's instructions, which are so edifying, on the process of chanting. I'm taking up in this beautiful book, Chanting Hare Krishna, created by one of my godbrothers, Shruta Prabhu, for which he keeps making updates and sending me newer and newer copies. So this next instruction comes from a lecture on the nectar of devotion in Vrindavan, 1972. So we're transporting back to that time and place where Prabhupada's speaking. When one becomes a devotee, beginning from the tongue, Chihwa Dao, Jiva Dao, by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, he becomes revealed. That is the perfection of chanting without any offenses. Then you'll find the name is not different from Krishna. When you are chanting, you will find Krishna is dancing on your tongue. This is the conclusion. So when we have to learn how to chant, Therefore, in the Shastras, in the Puranas, the 10 kinds of offenses are described. And Srila Jiva Goswami has given very much stress to avoid these offenses. Shrutanam, in the beginning, we cannot chant pure form of the name, but still by chanting process, then it becomes niyama-āgraha, almost pure. Abhasa means just like before sunrise, you find the darkness is off, but it is not sunlight. It is different from sunlight, but still there is the dawn. You can see everything distinctly. Similarly, first there is offensive name, and if you avoid the 10 kinds of offenses, then gradually it becomes niyama-āgraha. And Srila Haridas Thakur has said that by niyama-āgraha, one becomes liberated. There was some argument with Haridas Thakur and one Brahmana in the office of Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle. So there were some high-level talks on this niyama-āgraha. So by niyama-āgraha, one becomes liberated. By chanting Hare Krishna mantra offense, one becomes materially happy or distressed, but when one comes to the stage of niyama-āgraha, he becomes liberated. And when he chants pure name, there is Krishna Prema. Just like Rupa Goswami, he was chanting. We are also chanting, but we are not in the stage of Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami or Haridas Thakur. Actually, if we come to that stage, then there will be Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Just like Rupa Goswami said that, what shall I chant with one tongue and 2 ears? If there were millions of tongues and trillions of ears, I could chant something. And we cannot finish even 16 rounds because we have not created our taste for chanting. Still, we are in the niyama-āgraha stage. But don't be disappointed. Go on chanting. You'll come to the right position, namabhasa, then Shrutanam. Everything requires gradual development. So let us start by repeating together the Panchatattva Mahamantra, and then we'll chant for some time Hare Krishna Mahamantra with emphasis on keeping our minds and hearts fixed on the mantra itself, being aware that we're chanting, and bringing back our attention whenever it goes away to someplace else. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Continuing with the same lecture, we're partway through. So this nama is another incarnation of Krishna, because the name and Krishna are not different. Abhinatva namanamino. There's no difference. Here in the material world, there is difference between the name and the substance, but advaya gyan. In the absolute world, there is no such distinction. The name and the person, the same, identical. So actually, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we directly associate with Krishna, because name is the incarnation of Krishna. Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Therefore, if we are sensible, then we should take very much respectful attitude to the name, because name and Krishna are the same. Suppose Krishna comes here, how much respectful we shall be immediately. So similarly, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we should know Krishna is there. Therefore, we should be very much cautious and respectful, not neglectful. That is offense. If you become inattentive, that is offense. You should know this. Try to avoid. Krishna is giving us a chance to meet him in so many ways. Nama, Rupa, Lila, Parikar, Vashishta. So we should respect the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra with great care and caution, so that we may not commit any offense. Then your business is successful. Nam nad balad yasya hipa pabuti. If someone thinks that I am living in Vrindavan, I am chanting Hare Krishna mantra, so if I do something sinful, what it will do? So what sinful I am doing? A little sinful? Yes, little sinful will be excused if it is done not willingly. But if you commit sinful activities willingly, daily, then you'll be punished. That is law of nature. Even if you are a bhakta, you'll be given chance, but you'll have to be punished. So therefore, we must be careful. We must be very careful. We are chanting Hare Krishna mantra means dealing with Krishna directly. Therefore, we must be very careful, cautious, respectful. Then it is nice. It is success. This was from a lecture on the Nectar of Devotion from Vrindavan, October 31st, 1972. And now I'd just like to hear a few reflections. How did it go with bringing your attention back to the mantra as you were chanting, or any other reflections you have from the reading or from elsewhere?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, I felt when you are being watched, it's actually the quality of chanting becomes a bit better, because as I very conscious right now that you are here, you're there. So I think this Sangha is really helpful, because even it's 1 hour, but still I think at least a few rounds is quality is far more stable. Because, and similarly, if you need to up level that now Krishna is watching you, then as you read, I think then it might get even further better. So I just wanted to share that.
Yes, this is Krishna consciousness, as being aware of Krishna all the time. And he's the overseer and permitter. In the 13th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, I'm overseeing and I'm permitting. And if we become aware that he's there all the time and we act accordingly, like my friend Peter Burwash once said, whenever he moves around the world, he always tries to remain conscious that Prabhupada's sitting right next to him, so, like in the car, in his house. So what would you be doing now if he was sitting there watching you? Nice. Thank you very much. Let's have a few more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sorry, Gandharvika Mataji can go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Prabhu, please.
So I was feeling very fortunate that in this Sangha, I was able to see how the other devotees are chanting, and very importantly, I was able to hear Prabhupada and your chanting, because this Wednesday, Koladip Pran Prabhu was explaining very nicely how Laksha Hira got delivered. All she had to do is, even with a wrong motivation, she came and heard the Shuddha Nam just for 3 days. So I was feeling so fortunate that I was able to hear all of your chanting. Thank you.
Well, I feel fortunate seeing you and Balaram sitting together there. That's a nice scene, a really nice, fulfilling scene to see father and son sitting chanting Hare Krishna together. Thank you very much. Let's have a few more.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I remembered from your lecture that you just read, the important point is to not take Hare Krishna mantra for granted, because that's the tendency, because it's available and it's playing everywhere. So I just, as you said, like do any other thing and then the chant also. But then how Prabhupada re-emphasizes that if you give proper importance and respect to that holy name, and then we can unleash the real potency and get the full benefit of the mercy that the holy name wants to bestow upon us.
These are very important points you're making. And do you find that when you hear about the glories of the holy name, for instance, what Prabhupada was speaking before we started chanting about how there's no difference between Krishna and his name and so forth, and then you hear what the syllables mean, like Hare is an address, oh, energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service, that it gives you more appreciation when you're chanting?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
It's something that Haridas Thakur mentioned. It says in the Harinam Chintamani that along with chanting Krishna's names every day, we should take sambandha gyan and become more and more aware of our relationship with Krishna. So we have to hear about it and also hear about how to avoid offenses and then chant, and it becomes even more effective. Thank you for those important points.
Hare Krishna.
Let's have two more.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I was thinking that we usually, I've always heard that when you chant, all your sinful karmas just go away. I was just trying to reflect on that particular point for the past couple of weeks. I was thinking that I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, when you chant, you kind of get immune to the material world. So it doesn't matter whether the sinful activity happens or not, you probably don't react to it. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's right, except for that Prabhupada was making this point that we shouldn't develop an attitude that because I now have this power of the holy name and it's destroying my sinful activities, that I'll double back again and I'll purposefully commit sinful activities. Ajamil, although he chanted the holy name and it freed him from all sins, went on sinning, but he wasn't aware of it. And therefore, Prabhupada mentions that based on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, that if you have a snake and you take out its teeth, even though it appears to be biting, it's not having the same effect. So with the Jamil, he was innocent. He was simply remembering his childhood devotional service, and then he named his son Narayan, and then he was innocently calling out Narayan. Even one time, then he was freed from the sinful activities, even though by momentum he was going on doing it. But there's this subtlety that's brought up here today by Prabhupada. And that is that if you try to take advantage of that and you consciously go on thinking that, well, I'm chanting, I'm living in Vrindavan or whatever it may be, wherever it may be, that is, and that therefore it's okay and I'll intentionally sin, then this becomes an offense that creates a very horrible situation for the devotee through which one has to suffer. in order to come back to one's senses. So we should be mindful of that there's more responsibility once we know what it is. And we have to avoid the offensive mentality of thinking we can sin on the strength of chanting. Okay, one more.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Accept my humble obeisances, Lord Srila Prabhupada. I was just thinking that it's very nice. Well, for me, it's already 10 o'clock right now in the morning. It's not morning. And I was just thinking how it's interesting. The mind can sometimes go into automatic mode, kind of chanting that, okay, I just need to chant these 16 rounds and then, it's done, especially when someone has services in the morning. But it's nice to chant with you and Srila Prabhupada. And also I see the pictures of all the devotees, how they sincerely and seriously chant. And it gives me more aspiration to chant also better. Thank you so much.
Yes, this is a constant endeavor for avoiding niyama-āgraha. There's niyama-āgraha and niyama-agraha. Niyama-āgraha means to do something, but to not be aware that you're doing it, actually. You're just doing it by rote. And the other one, niyama-agraha, means to avoid doing it altogether. And finding that balance is the perfection of practice, in that I'm doing it, but I'm also aware that I'm doing it. And I'm doing it with deliberation, as that's when the chanting becomes really powerful. So Haridas Thakur in the Harinam Chintamani said, you should make whatever arrangements you have to on a daily basis in order to be aware that you're chanting and to be very deliberate about it. And if you find yourself falling into a rut that either I'm not doing it or I'm doing it, but I'm not deliberately doing it, then adjust, move your environment around, get new association, do something. And that's why we have this japa circle as a kind of booster, so that when we come together, then it gives us more awareness that we're chanting and the importance of chanting and so forth. So hopefully it carries forward. And you said it's not morning anymore, 10 o'clock, but for most New Yorkers, they're just getting up now. That's the difference in the lifestyle of devotees. Unless you're up by 3 in the morning, everyone, devotees think, oh, you slept in. For everyone else, if you go past 10, you slept in. That's the difference in a devotee lifestyle. Hare Krishna. So let's try chanting a little bit more with this mood of bringing our deliberation to the chanting. Somehow or other, grab onto something in chanting the holy names and remember that Krishna's fully present, and then to express yourself through the chanting that Krishna, please engage me in your service. Our dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our dear Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev. If you so desire, please empower us to keep the holy name as our primary focus 24 hours a day. Please give us the wherewithal to always chant the holy names in all circumstances, being equal whether we're up or down, always just depending on you, and giving the holy name to as many people as possible. Please give us empowerment so that we can represent you and please you. Thank you for considering our request. Hare Krishna. Everyone who agrees with these ideas in part or in whole, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll see you in 20 minutes. We'll start up with the transcendental vibration in 20 minutes. Haribol. Kripasnabeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo